Hey, Water's being Willie come back live in the garden. Um, let's see here. A couple things to talk about. Make sure you hit that like button. You come in. I want to make sure that we, get this information today. Like I said, it's just such a fluid situation right now that it's kind of, it's difficult to, you know, got to process everything. And then you want to give out some real information because I think if you, what's up, guys? K. Wilder Pimp, what it do? If you get inundated with all this false information, all this disinformation, it can make you go crazy. You dig? And so look out, guys. What up? What up? So tonight I want to talk about a couple of things, and I want to kind of give some give some little food for thought for others investing as well, because if you see what happened today with the stock market, you'll see that it jumped 2,000 points. Now, which is crazy. You did? So you got to ask yourself, why would the stock market jump so high after dropping so low in such a quick turnaround? Well, that's what I want to talk about. The real news and the fake news. See, that's fake news. Because see, the real news on why the economy or why the stock market rose so high today, right, is because the government bought a lot of stocks, giving these companies billions of dollars so they can buy their stocks back. I mean, they put it right there in plain sight. It was a statement by the Federal Reserve that said they'll do whatever they have to do to keep this economy going. And see, when the Federal Reserve says that, what they're basically saying is we're going to inject phony money, okay, into the economy to boost up the stock prices. So those that are not in the know would think that this economy, or think that the stock market is really a viable stock market, not the bubble that it is. DJ, what it do? All right. So don't get all hyped up on, this big rise in the stock market today. That's it's phony baloney. You dig? I'm in H-Town, guys, and in H-Town they just instituted the stay at home, stay shelter in place, whatever the heck that means. But it's just such a hypocritical situation, because being here in H-Town, it's so big, right? And like I said, you still can go to restaurants, you still go get your food, you can still go to the medical treatment. You can still go to government buildings. Still certain things that you can go do. And that's the confusing thing. Wow. Man. KY, good looking out, man. Like I say, one of the family members, like I say, in H-Town, which is in Pasadena. Pasadena is kind of like the outskirts of H-Town, but it's in H-Town. And so now they need, wow. So you got to have some type of permission slip to be out. You have to be considered an essential worker to be out. To me, family, I call this the new stop and frisk. We have so many people right now that's not working, that's not receiving a check, that have to stay at home and not get paid. But then when they go outside to go and leave the home, they're going to have to be fined. So you're taking the money and you're taking the money. See, that's real news right there. See, fake news is Congress, going back and forth on this stimulus package. Let me ask you something, family. Why do you think it's taking so long, okay, for Congress to agree upon a package to serve you guys, to serve us? Remember, I mean, there are hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people that are, hourly workers. I think maybe 45% of the workforce consists of workers, employees that work at small companies. And it's a pretty tough situation. And my heart goes out because, they're not talking about that. I mean, imagine if you're an hourly worker and you've been told that you cannot come to work, and a lot of these businesses aren't paying you. I mean, what are you going to do? See, this is the beginning of what they call governmental takeovers, when in the sense of, instead of adults being able to take care of themselves, like we have been all these years, i.e. swine flu, bird flu, Ebola, West Nile virus, HIV, and then the big one, influenza here in America. That's, all those different illnesses. Family, did you forget about them? And then all of a sudden we have coronavirus and they shut down the whole country, Remember, just back in 2018, 80,000 people died of the flu. Did you guys have any type of, pandemic scare? Did the main media, did the television even tell you this? How many people even knew that 80,000 died of the flu in 2018? And on an average, 25 to 30,000 died of the flu. So to have this many people, adhere to this is really, it's really cognitive dissonance. I got to tell it like it is. I mean, there's no way, we have people in Congress still getting paid, mind you, and they are, where the money's supposed to go when you have all these people. The people that you voted into office, family, are up there in Washington, D.C. right now, arguing. And I told you, if you've been in the garden a while, I told you, this whole notion of politics is one bird, two wings. It's the same bird. So how can you actually even begin to put your trust in anybody that's federally elected? Your congressmen, your senators are right now arguing over where this money should go. And guess who the money belongs to? It belongs to us. We're the ones that have the money. I mean, these are taxpayers' money when they're talking about a $500 billion stimulus, a $1 trillion stimulus. That's taxpayers' money. Every time you go to the store, make a purchase, sales taxes, gas taxes, okay? All of these taxes add up, and you would think that in the time of a pandemic or in the time of need, that we would be the first one protected. We'd be the first one taken care of because the money is ours anyway. You did? I mean, so it's like, where is and like I said, I'm not going to get into this fear mongering, all this scare tactics, family. And please make sure when because social media is being used as a tool to continue to throw this stuff out there to kind of scare you. But if you notice, no one is ever giving you any concrete, tangible information about, okay, hey, if I'm staying in the house for 2 weeks, what is that going to do? Jazz, what it do? What is it going to do? Okay, Wallet Pimp, see, that's why you're in the garden. Great question. Essential business workers, why aren't they being tested? And how is it that people that's essential workers, okay, because even in H-Town, they say the construction workers and whatnot are considered essential. So we still have those that are out and about. If we have those that are out and about, doesn't that stand the reason that they will be infected or have a more opportunity to be infected? And if you go out and come back in, you can infect your whole family. But I tell you, family, it's just kind of one of those situations where you have to use your common sense. Look at the symptoms of what this whole virus is about. It's the cold. And I don't want to minimize it because I know with underlying health conditions, like diabetes or heart disease or, respiratory diseases, when you add that to a flu like virus, of course it's going to be detrimental to your life because it does something to your lungs that prevents your lungs from actually having the ability to put air in and out, and that's what kills you. You're not going to go get tested for coronavirus and die tomorrow. If you ever notice how all of these people that so-called stars and celebrities letting us know they have coronavirus, but nothing is happening to them. Anytime you have a situation where 95, 96% of those that are infected survive, and only maybe 4% of those that it may be serious or die, but that 4% have underlying health conditions. See, all of this stuff is to me, is fake news when you don't let the public know or give the public tangible information. Just telling them to go home and stay in the house. To me, that's treating us like it's 1984. And if you haven't had a chance to either watch the movie 1984, read the book 1984, because it'll get, and also Eyes of Darkness by Dean Koontz, because there are a lot of things that go on. If you know about what happened in 1918 with the Spanish flu, go back and look at some of the pictures and some of the documentations when it comes to the 1918 bird flu. You'll see them doing the same thing with the mask on, with the gloves. But let me ask you a question. Or let me not ask you a question, let me enhance you. Anytime you're wearing a mask, okay, then you are trying to prevent your illness from being contracting to other people. And what I mean by that, if you're not sick, why you got a mask on? Because wearing a mask is not going to prevent you from getting sick. If you sick, you should have a mask on because you don't want to be, you want to eliminate or try to, alleviate, your exposure. And so when you see all these people walking around with masks on, it really ridiculous because the only reason you should have a mask on if you're sick. Thank you, family, for joining me in the garden. Make sure you hit that like button and everything, and let's get this knowledge. Marco, what it do? When stocks drop by them, when they shoot up 200 points, no doubt. What's up, Pumpkin? What's up? That's real right there. And if you notice, like I said on my last video, is it time to invest? Notice I didn't say it's time because remember this volatility. Remember the market went up 2,000 points today. So if you got into it last week, okay, you made a little change, right? And see, this is how it's going to work. But I wouldn't fall for the banana in the tailpipe because it's propped up. It's not real. These are buybacks. And the reason why they have not, just think about this for a minute, family. Why haven't Congress approved a bill to get this money out to people who need it? Why haven't Congress already contacted lenders and told them, listen, people not working, we need to suspend mortgages, rents, utilities, okay? Because think about the notion of people staying at home right now, not working, and the bills are still coming. See, now you're going to add on stress upon stress. And see, when you do that, that's when you have that organized chaos, organized confusion. Okay, because no one is saying anything to these politicians about why is it that we can get $1 trillion in one day and give it to these corporations, give it to LabCorp, give it to Quest Diagnostics to create and manufacture these tests. I mean, it was like in 2 days they had $1 trillion. But when it comes to giving money to the citizens for they can sustain, we arguing back and forth. And so now you have the constituents for the Democrats blaming the Republicans and the constituents for the Republicans blaming the Democrats instead of the citizens blaming both of them. Because there should be no reason why the citizens aren't taken care of first when all this so-called phony money is taxpayer money anyway. Okay? And like I said, and let alone these senators inside trading. And I don't know if you know what that is, family, but if you get, and this is why we're behind the 8 ball, and this is why it's very, very important to pay yourself first and try to put yourself in a situation where you can take advantage of them taking advantage of us. See, this is cyclical. This isn't something that just started. And so when I said pay yourself first, look at what's going on. These senators and congressmen, they getting inside tips on things that's going to happen beforehand. They buying the stock when it's low, then they're going to sell it before it drops, like they did. This last couple of weeks, you had about 3 or 4 senators do that, and nobody's talking about that. HBs, yeah, Nancy Pelosi trying, yeah. Well, I mean, like I say, all of these people are fake actors. Okay, you got the real actors and the fake actors. I mean, where are all the professional athletes and all the celebrities? I'm telling you right now, after this thing is over, if people still go fill those stadiums and watch these busters, after one, they never did anything for the citizens during Katrina, Hurricane Harvey, and now look at this pandemic. Okay, where your stars at? You think it's enough to just have them tell you that they have coronavirus and you're supposed to have sympathy for them? No, these are people who have allegedly millions and millions of dollars, that they get from your support. And so when you support these fake actors, and then when you need them, where are they? Okay. Just Jamaica, I can dig it. Yeah, I mean, but see, it's already started. See, because you got to look at things from a macro standpoint. Listen, if you wanted to go somewhere, if you want to go out the country, you can't. If you want to go to Mexico, the border's closed. You want to go to Canada, the border's closed. There's a no-fly. You can't fly overseas. So you stuck in America. And now you stuck in your house. I mean, that's very, what they call psychological warfare. Okay? But then when you cognitive dissonant and just kind of going with the flow when 85% of the people are sheeple and just following and not asking questions, you get this type of situation. But all these so-called celebrities and stuff, and these politicians, you notice you never hear from them until they need you. But when you need them, where they at? Okay? So it's only one star, and that's the most high inside of you. That's the only one you want to be a fan of. These other people are phony balonies. Like I said, we got the new stop and frisk, because that's basically all it is. I mean, if you like say, I was looking at something on the Tell a Lie, and it's in Italy. And in Italy right now, if you're out, they have the cops plus some military armed forces stopping you, getting you information, trying to find out why you're out and about. That's soon coming to America, family. Ashley, what's going on? That's soon coming to America. So I think what's going to happen is when you get pulled over, they're just going to issue a ticket. And so now they're going to dig into your pockets even more. So think about that stress. You dig? So family, make sure you stay conscious. Like I said, there's only 2 important days in your life. The day you was born and the day you realize why. And once you realize why, then everything will kind of come to fruition and start making sense. I promise you, once you become conscious, this kind of stuff doesn't bother you. Because remember, the biggest fears are fear of poverty and fear of death. And if you're above that, then you see all this thing coming and you can benefit from it. Okay? And you benefit from it by saving that paper and getting ready. Because like I say, don't think that, this 2,000 point increase in the Dow means that, okay, it's over. No, that was phony baloney. That was money propped up by the U.S. Treasury to give to the corporations to buy back their own stock, to raise those prices. But when you're conscious of that, you can get in and get out. Okay, don't let them take your money like that. And those who have 401ks, like you got 10 plus years to still put this work in, don't panic. Don't go sell all your stuff. Don't panic, because you got time to make that up. But you're going to not only make it up, but you're going to benefit from it even more. Okay. Beast, what? Tell us why. Tell us why. Okay. So, like I say, family, that's all I have tonight. Other thing I want to talk about, they want, like I say, KY, I believe you. They want to keep you in a panic, because staying in a panic, you don't act and think rational. See, right now, there are 2 things I want to talk about. They're called index funds and ETFs. All right. And the index fund and ETF, this is for those who, not really well versed on learning when to get in and out of stocks. Well, there's something called an index fund and ETFs where you can actually invest in those, right? And what an index fund is like a mutual fund, right? But it tracks a particular index. So, for instance, right now, the Dow is at, I think it got up to 20,000, but it dropped to like 18,000. Back in February, it was at 29,000. So if you have an index fund tracking the S&P 500, and right now I think it's like 2,300. Well, once it rises back up, because it's going to rise back up. When it rises back up, then your money's going to rise with the index. And not only is your money going to rise with the index, you can also have an opportunity to get dividends from the index fund, and actually just compound growth from the index fund. And all the index fund is like a mutual fund that tracks a particular index. And you have an index for the S&P 500, the Russell 3000, okay? You have an index for overseas markets, right? And you just let it ride. You contribute to it and you just let it ride. And then, of course, you have ETFs, which are exchange-traded funds. Let's say, for instance, you want to invest in Microsoft and Apple and Amazon, all those big companies, right? But you don't have the capital to invest in all those companies. Well, you can invest in what they call an ETF, an exchange traded fund, where it has exposure to all of those different companies. So this one ETF will have exposure to maybe 20 or 30 companies, and you can trade and buy those ETF just like regular stocks. And I like I said, this for entertainment purposes only. But I definitely recommend, if you want to start investing and you're really not that sure about doing the research and whatnot, I would definitely look into something called index funds and ETFs. Great passive tools for investing purposes, and something that you can keep for a long time and gain some benefits from it through dividends and through compound growth. Okay. Appreciate it, Byron. Dividend stocks, no doubt. Yes, no doubt. I mean, and I can tell you right now, family, a lot of these companies, and that's why I say kind of hold tight because a lot of these companies right now are suspending dividends. Okay, I think Ford, GE, a couple other big major companies have what they call suspended their dividends to try to hold back on the money. So that's kind of some of the drawbacks of dealing with dividend stocks during these type of times, right? But also, it's a great opportunity to get these companies such a discount price. I think right now Ford is like $4.90. General Motors, I think, is under $20. All right. So there are some opportunities in the auto sector that you can kind of get in right now and benefit from it in the long run. Because remember, there are three industries that's going to always get bailed out in America: the auto industry, the banking industry, and the mortgage and the airline industry. Those three always going to get bailed out because the government needs those three main industries to keep this company going. All right, so you already know this $500 billion right now that the Congress just approved for the for the airline industry and the hotel industry, but then nothing's been approved for us. Okay, so it's a great opportunity, family, to kind of start doing your research. Like I say, the auto industry, the airline industry, and I'm telling you right now, the airline industry, those stocks are really cheap right now. All right. Really cheap. So do your research, family. This can be a nice opportunity for you to come up. Remember, this thing that's popping off right now, the rich is going to get richer. Okay. The poor is going to stay poor. And those that are in the middle class, those that are in the garden, they're saving and paying yourself first, it's going to be a nice come up. And it's just how it is. I mean, when they say a transfer of wealth, they basically saying save your money because in about every 10 to 12 years, there's going to be an opportunity for those to put themselves in a different financial situation. But like I say, 75, 80% of the people are not going to do it because it takes some discipline. You got to have a definiteness of purpose. You got to have some desire. You got to have some goals. And the biggest thing you have to do, you got to make some sacrifices. Family, we don't have this type of generational wealth. So we have to, make a sacrifice to build this wealth, because one, the attainment of low interest loans for us, it's not really feasible a lot of times, and then we look at your credit situation, and like I said, if your credit ain't tight, it ain't right. And that's how they know that they can keep certain people out of this particular situation. I'm telling you right now, if your credit tight, I would definitely look into getting me a loan. I would definitely look into getting a loan and investing that loan for your own personal investment, and then paying it back. You did? Why go get a car loan or go get a house loan? Well, you can go get a loan for 20 grand or 15 grand or 30 grand, and then, especially in a time like this, and make some good decisions on that money. And so now that money can make more money. You can put that money to work. It doesn't go to work if it's a car. Because see, now you're buying that car, now that's a liability. You dig? And family out there with homes, look into refinancing. Mortgage rates are very, very low right now. You dig? So once again, let me just reiterate. Family, look into something called index funds. Look into something called ETFs. All right? And do your research on dividend stocks, because I promise you, it's going to be a great opportunity for a lot of people out there soon. Okay? For the stockbrokers, family, if you're going to get into the investment game and you want a particular stockbroker, I would definitely kind of look into, do some research on that. I'll come back with some, because I'm very weary of most stockbrokers, because they like to cookie cut all portfolios. You dig? That's why it's important that you have a particular, goal in mind, And I would actually even be more apt to recommend you doing it yourself, because you can passively invest and make more money yourself than having a stockbroker that you have to pay him fees, you have to pay him a percentage, all that kind of stuff. You dig? And so, I'll look into some research on that to give you some recommendations. But personally speaking, I think being a passive investor, right, doing your own research, having a portfolio that is 60% stocks, 40% bonds, you did have a little versatility, have a little diversification, and I'm gonna be coming back with a lot more information. But I have to be like, have to kind of ride that line right now until I take my test, because once I take my test, I'll be able to get more information out without having it to be entertainment purposes only. You dig? But in the meantime, between time, I definitely recommend that you kind of look at or get your mindset right when you do start investing, get a portfolio. You don't want everything in stocks. You want to go, maybe 50% stocks, 30%, 30% bonds, okay? Then maybe 20% in cash. You did, just to kind of have that diversification, And it's a real cool little situation, because if you're doing something passive, which I definitely always recommend passivity, because with the market go up and down like it does, you want to make sure your capital, your money is protected, and you want to make sure you get something out of it, i.e. dividends. All right. So if you notice, I talk dividends, but if there's also a situation where, like for instance, it's the cannabis sector, the pharmaceutical sector. If you can choose, or if you can do research on certain companies and you can get in low, then have your goal in mind to get out. Don't just purchase stocks and then just ride, and you don't have a clue, or you don't have a goal in mind on when to get out of it. So if you're buying it at $3 or $4, then you may have a goal in mind that you're going to get out at $8 or $9. The only way you're going to do that unless you kind of stay on top of that. You dig? You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to take everybody's money, but see, no one wants to teach you how to make that money. That's why I'm kind of wary of these stockbrokers and all these cats out there, because I promise you, you yourself can do it. Like I said, you have Fidelity, you have Charles Schwab, you have Ally, you have TD Ameritrade, you have E-Trade. You have all these different financial institutions that you can go ahead, open up your own brokerage account, open up your own retirement account, and then you contribute your money yourself. No one else. Like right now, you get a 401k or 403b, these retirement, you just contribute your money. You don't know where your money going. But if you open up your own brokerage account where you have access to three, you have access to your brokerage account where you can get your stocks in and bonds. You have a retirement account where you can put your RA in, or your 401k, roll your 401k over there. And then you have a cash management account where you can have your pay myself first account. And you have all three of those in one institution. And so when you want to check your money, you check your money. You don't need to be calling somebody else, hey, how my money doing? You did? And so when you're looking at your own money, you know what's going on. That's why I say you got to make sure that when you get into this game, you have to make some sacrifices. Okay? And I always say, if you're a couple, if you're married, you're a young couple, or not even a young couple, if you're a seasoned couple, flip the script. If both of y'all working, man, live off one salary. Live off one salary. And then we'll see what type of capital you have in 2 or 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So you get a brokerage account. Like I said, you got Fidelity, you got TD Ameritrade, you got E-Trade, you have Charles Schwab, man, you have so much out there. And so take care of your money. And the easiest way you can do it, just like depositing the money in a savings account. You do your research, you get you a couple index funds, or you get you some bonds, you get you some stocks. Then every month, you transfer money to your brokerage account. And then on your brokerage account, then once you doing that, then you can decide, okay, I want to put this money in this account. I want to put this money in that account. And you watch it grow. And then don't sleep on real estate either, family. Like I said, it's for entertainment purposes only, but don't sleep on real estate. Okay? So I just want to come back and look food for thought, man. K. Waller Pimp, man, you read my mind. I got you a message saying, I ain't been in the garden. I was going to get in the garden, man. So that's good looking out. All right. So family, thank you for joining me in the garden, family. Finna get on out of here. Like I said, I hope what I said resonated with you. This food for thought. We got to keep digesting it, because I promise you, right now, we got the new stop and frisk. You got the real news and the fake news. You got the real actors and the fake actors. Stay conscious, family, because what's going on right now is not indicative, okay, of what's going to happen, in the near future. This thing is going to fly by just like Ebola, just like West Nile virus, just like swine flu, just like what's the other? SARS, MERS, you dig? West Nile virus. So, stay conscious and continue to do what you've been doing. Continue to do what you've been doing all your life, washing your hands. If someone's sick, you know not to be around them. Okay? You know, stay healthy, but stay financially healthy too. And the only way you can do that is pay yourself first. All right? So family, in the meantime, between time, may the Most High Inside bring you joy and being with us out of 5,000.